What up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to another edition of the Boxing Voice Radio, but a very special one. And we're going to be calling this episode 1 from Blue Wire Studios right here in Wynn Casino. But as always, I'm joined alongside Danny Alvarez. What's going on, champ?
Champ, how are you, man? We finally made it to the win.
To the big league.
Blue Wire Studios, we're here.
We're here now, for sure. And we're going to have our guests in the building, hopefully in about 15 minutes. You know, these A-list celebrities like to take their sweet time coming in. But we should have Joyce, which I figured was a perfect guest since we're going to be talking about the Tyson Fury, Alexander Usyk fight. Obviously, Bob Arum wants to put that on for the Super Bowl weekend, and it's no longer being talked about for December. Now it's February.
Right.
Obviously, I know nothing about those other sports. So how big is this fight, or rather, how good of a job is Bob Arum doing by trying to stage this fight around the football?
Yeah, I think that they'll be able to do it from a TV standpoint, obviously being aligned with ESPN being, you know, the worldwide leader in sports, as they like to say. So they'll have plenty of coverage and plenty of promotion opportunity. But it is a little odd given that the fight would take place somewhere in the Middle East, nowhere near where the location of the Super Bowl game would be played. So I think that from that standpoint, they'll be able to promote it quite well on ESPN, but they definitely won't have no people, you know, going to both because it's two totally parts of the world.
What time you think this is going to air? Because obviously with the AJ Usyk, it kind of aired late. So you want me to turn this way now?
I do.
Joyce is here.
With a camera crew.
Okay, well, good for Joyce, man. You might as well make the best of the opportunity.
Absolutely.
And like I said, we're talking about Alexander Usyk and Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury having that last piece of the puzzle, Alexander capturing not only the first time, but solidifying with the rematch this past weekend, which makes the heavyweight division that more interesting for our good friend Joyce, who will be walking in the studio. Remember, I believe he's the WBO mandatory, and he's just kind of staying busy, fighting top-level opposition because he will be taking on Joseph Parker. But I guess, are you shocked that these two heavyweights are able to hammer out a deal so quickly? Obviously, December 19th was or 17th, something like that was the original date. Now we're hearing February 18th. Possibly another date, the 11th. What's your thoughts?
Well, only one of those is Super Bowl weekend, so, you know.
I mean, it's still two potential dates.
Yep. I mean, I have no issue with the fight being in February. I was a little surprised at how quick things developed between the two, between Alexander Usyk and Tyson Fury. But at the end of the day, we still have to see if Tyson even comes back. You know, we saw him give up the ring. So now it's like, okay, cool. What are you going to do with WBC? They gave you this time frame. You asked for an extension. So let's see what he decides during that time frame to see if he holds on to that title. And if he does, then clearly there is indication that the fight is possibly close to being done, if not a done deal.
Absolutely. Guys, if we could get that Benson tweet just so that we can show the world, obviously, Tyson Fury versus Alexander Usyk. Bob Arum came out and said it's highly unlikely for December. Instead, they're going to be eyeing February 11th or the 18th, and added that the Middle East is most likely the location, though it's not necessarily Saudi Arabia, because obviously Bob has some relations with Qatar. Remember, Qatar was a big, I guess, player in the possible Manny Pacquiao, Terrence Crawford fight that never happened.
And then we just saw Frank Smith from Matchroom, who obviously would be involved on behalf of Usyk, right? Because he's K2/Matchroom. So he was just with the Prince of the UAE, if I'm not mistaken. And, you know, it looks like they're, you know, looking to do business in the near future. So,
I seen that
do-
quote actually with the picture, right? Where
Yes.
he's like, big business soon or something, basically establishing that there is a relationship and it will be ongoing.
Yes, no, absolutely. And, we'll see what's to come of that. We saw Dubai was supposed to host the Floyd Mayweather event. Obviously, there was a death that caused that event to be postponed. But, that event still went on in Abu Dhabi. We've seen the UFC have plenty of successful events in Abu Dhabi. Actually, that's how they were the very first out of any sport. The UFC in Abu Dhabi was the very first to come back during the pandemic. So I think that there's a lot of money out there, and I think there'd be some very interested players.
Well, let's turn our attention to our first guest. And when I say first guest, Joe, you're like literally the first guest in our new studio here at Blue Wire in the Wynn Casino. But thank you. I want to introduce, obviously, Joyce. Everybody should know this up-and-coming contender. You're definitely a mandatory now with the WBO, correct?
Yeah. It's great to be here. Beautiful studio. Yeah, pleasure. But yeah, what was your question?
Mandatory in the WBO?
Yeah, mandatory. Yeah.
Okay.
So I got Joseph Parker coming up the 24th of September. That's in Manchester MEN Arena. So yeah, first of big showcase. And really looking forward to it. Doing my training camp here in Vegas as always with Ishmael Salas, and just come back from the UFC training center. So I'm.
You're looking good, Joe. You're looking good. But how are you able to stay, I guess, emotionally sound, knowing everything that took place last week, knowing you're up next? Obviously everybody is worried about Fury and Usyk, but you're the mandatory. They have to give you an opportunity at those belts.
Yeah, it's exciting time to be a heavyweight, especially from Britain. There's plenty of good fighters, and what a performance Usyk did against Joshua, and now he's got all the belts, and then there's talk of Tyson Fury coming back into the mix, out of retirement to for undisputed, and then meanwhile I'm fighting Joseph Parker, which is number 1 versus number 2 in the WBO, and I'm number 2 versus number 2 versus number 3 in the WBC, so we're like next in line to fight for them belts. So it's like the next best fight out there, and it's it's really exciting, and I'm looking to beat Joseph Parker and then like go on and then fight Usyk or maybe Fury for all the belts.
I gotta ask you, man, who do you think wins that fight?
I always thought Fury, because he, like, being the bigger man, he can switch southpaw. He's very, he's got a longer reach. But Usyk, like with his display against Joshua, he really, proved he can like really mix it with the big guys. And I think it's a different fight than I think he already had Joshua worked out going in. And Fury is like a lot more unpredictable, and he's got he's got that fast jab, like low jab, and his defensive capabilities as well. I think he'll lean on him and make it more like untidy for Usyk. Mm-hmm. Like he's more untidy, and he'll just like rough him up and ruffle his feathers and get the work in. But I'm excited to see that fight and see who comes out on top of that, because that'll be who I want to be taking on.
Do you actually believe that Fury comes back though? Because he no longer has the Ring magazine. Obviously, that's with Alexander Usyk. He asked the WBC for a week extension. They were talking about December. Now we're hearing possibly February. Do you think we see Tyson Fury, Alexander Usyk?
You never know. It's a sport of heavyweight boxing, and like there's a lot of twists and turns, and like hopefully he's gonna lace up the gloves again and get in there. But hopefully it'll be for the belts. But mate, it's still a big fight without the belts, and Joshua as well. He's still a big draw as well. He can still come back, and like it's really exciting time to be a heavyweight, and I'm just can't wait to get back in there and show you what I'm made of, and I want to become world champion too.
No, absolutely. And obviously being in line. In your mind, that being said, if the belts are being fought for in February, you're fighting in September. Does that mean another stay busy fight before you get the opportunity at the titles?
Yeah, well, I'm going to deal with Parker first in September, and then hopefully have like maybe a fight in between while I wait for things to sort themselves out. But definitely March is a time when I'm looking to capture one of them belts.
So I never really considered Usyk a heavyweight. Obviously, I'm not educated enough to give that sort of opinion because I haven't shared the ring with him. And I'm not of your caliber. You have shared the ring. When he started his ascension to the heavyweight division, did you automatically believe he would be where he's at, or did you think he wouldn't fill in?
Well, like I saw it's like a semi-pro tournament, the WSB World Series of Boxing. I saw Usyk because there was like a catch weight between like the super heavyweights in amateur boxing and the heavyweights so it was like cruiserweights and heavyweights in professional. They made a one division, and he was just like, when I saw him fight, he was just beating them guys at my weight comfortably. And then when I had the chance to face him, we had a great fight. But yeah, he was like a little bit too skilled for me at the time. But I gave it all I got, and it went 5 rounds, and he got a unanimous decision. But it was I pushed him to the wire, landed my own shots, and I had a really exciting fight, and we had real respect for each other as well afterwards.
But did you think he would eventually become the heavyweight that he is today?
It was like he had I think, who was his first fight?
Chaz Witherspoon.
Yeah, Witherspoon. He was kind of like warming into it. Then he had the Chisora one, which was like a close one. I thought, because it was a close fight, and Chisora did well in that fight, and I think he just upped his game when he fought Joshua, and then Joshua again, because for the whole fight, he was rapidly throwing punches, avoiding shots, and like his work rate through that fight was phenomenal.
Sharing the ring with him, would it be, I guess, unwise of us to count him out if the Fury fight gets made, surely based on the way Fury fought Wilder? One would assume if he leans on a Usyk and fights him as rough and tough as he fought Wilder, Usyk, on the outside looking in, doesn't look physically strong enough to be able to deal with that. Again, you sharing the ring with him, what do you think?
And they're both like kind of crazy guys as well in their own ways. They'll like the press conference was good as well, interesting. But then obviously there'd be a translator for Usyk, except when he pipes up sometimes and does a bit of English and stuff. But they've both got they've both been boxing their whole lives. Usyk with the 350 amateur bouts, and Fury, he's he grew up boxing and that. So and I was thinking because Fury can switch as well, so he can beat him to the he's got a longer range jab as well, so he could keep him away. But then Usyk's like quicker. He's used to fighting smaller guys, so he'll be he can almost see the punches coming, and he does like them little games and stuff that keeps his mind active. So it's going to be a tough fight for both of them, and it's interesting to see how it will ignite on the night.
Is that a fight that you think goes to the decision, or is that a fight that we don't see it make that the final bell?
I'm not sure, and I wonder if Usyk's gonna have to touch up his body, because Fury's head is high up and he leans back as well, so I don't know how he's gonna hit his head.
Yeah.
Do you think that Anthony Joshua showed in that ninth round that it's the body? I don't know if you saw that Usyk got touched to the body, and he was visibly okay, I felt that a little hurt by it. Do you think that is going to be the key for Usyk? Do you think that AJ uncovered that?
Yeah, I was kind of on my edge of my seats at some points when Joshua was coming forward, with his confidence back and throwing shots, heavy shots to the body. But they were you could see visibly that they actually hurt him.
Yes.
Some of them shots, yes. I was like, ooh, maybe something's going to happen here. But nah, because of Usyk's conditioning, he stayed in there and didn't seem too phased for too long, and then got back on the jab, slipping again.
Did you watch that fight with Ishmael Salas?
Oh my God! I wonder if you're going where I'm going. That's so funny.
Nah, we actually watched it in the house in the Vegas house. Had a look there,
because I wanted to double down on that question and see in the moment, watching Joshua throw those actual body shots, did you feel anything yourself? Because we had the opportunity to watch you work quite a few times, and I feel like that's one of your specialties are those uppercuts. Like, I won't say what I hear your trainer say, and then you react, but with those same body uppercuts. And the way that Usyk responded to those, I'm just wondering, did that, I don't know, excite you?
Yeah, I think I would have because like what I noticed with the fight, and was at Salas's house yesterday reviewing a fight with AJ versus Joseph Parker, and like we was reviewing the footage. We did actually discuss the Joshua fight as well, and so like I would be throwing a lot more shots where he was throwing more like single shots, and then he was like more able to deal with those.
In your opinion, do you think that he was too tired, or do you think that he was just being cautious? Because there was times where he would hurt him to the body, but then that's it. It'd be like one or two, and then that's
one
it.
Or two punches.
Yeah, and then he'd look at his work for a little bit, admire it, and then like if you see that he's hurt, then you go in again, steam in.
Well, hold on. Do you think he was admiring the work, or do you think that he was tired?
Or maybe he was tired, didn't want to blow a gasket. Either or, yeah.
Or just being cautious, man. It's got to suck to get counted from someone like that. Like, it was just pot shots after pot shots. Every time that Usyk would land, it was hard for AJ to avoid those.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, it's
got to be a little bit,
like Usyk's masterful, and he's always like 2 or 3 steps ahead. So he keeps on. And the way he was like landing the jab, moving off, it was always constantly peppering him and giving Joshua something to think of in the fight. So, you got to ride and deal with the fight as you're in there and react as you can react. But then if he's like always on top and a little bit quicker to the punch all the time, then I guess it's challenging.
I want to assume every fight, a fighter wants to make a statement. But I don't know, is there any extra will or determination for you to come out on top in a emphatic fashion due to the fact that Joseph has been in there with some pretty big names in the UK? Obviously, he shared the ring with AJ, but had a very good fight with Dillian White. So, how big of a statement do you want to make in this Parker fight?
Yeah, massive statement. I aim to try and stop him. I don't like doing the whole you don't get paid for overtime. So I want to if I see the opportunity there, I want to end it quick and put on a good display. And if I think I can get to work and do something, put something together and get him out there hopefully and make a statement, because I always aim to do that and progress.
In the Dubois fight, you made it look so easy, right? Like, we didn't even need you to get out of gear. I kind of maybe Devin Haney might have took your game plan now that I think about it, because you use that jab so much. Do you think it'll be that easy with Parker, because he has a very educated jab himself, but you being taller and longer, I'm assuming you got the advantage in reach.
Yeah, and also because you see, similarly like Joshua and Usyk, Joseph Parker, I think he's used to fighting bigger men, so he's that little bit quicker. So it will be challenging, and it's a hard fight. I think he's got good skills, good footwork, head movement, and that. And it's going to be he's going to be working on things that he's seen in my previous fight. So it's going to be tough, especially early on until he gets into it. And it could go 12 rounds, but yeah, I want to knock him out.
Joe, I gotta ask. We had Johnny Fisher in the studio this morning. Obviously, you have him out here getting rounds with you in. You have Carlos Takam. Talk about that work. Talk about the rounds that Johnny and Carlos have been able to provide and help you with in this camp.
Yeah, no, sparring's been great actually. Yeah, and good to have Johnny Fisher out here again. I had him out here before he turned pro, when he was still you must have heard from uni, and then he came out here and went pro, etc. But and Takam, having him out here as well, especially after I've just fought him, it was great to have him back. And he's kind of similar dimensions and comes with challenges with the overhand rights, and being the smaller fighter, like coming in quickly with different shots, and he's very experienced as well. So yeah, the sparring about has been great.
So what exactly about Vegas have you taken a liking to? Because now you seem to be coming more frequently, and you've even brought Johnny now for a second time, and he's enjoying it. What's the differences between training here in Las Vegas or across the pond?
I'm actually quite used to it here. I'm almost a local. I've spent most of my camps out here. From like my first fight, it was like LA and Vegas. When it's Jorge Linares and was working with Salas. Because I started with Salas, then went to Abel Sanchez, and came back to across the pond to train with Adam Booth, but now I'm back with Salas again. So he has a gym out here, Salas Boxing Academy. And I use a UFC facility, who I've just come back from today. And, it's got everything that I need. It's got the sunshine as well, because England can be a bit dull and grey most of the time. So it's got everything I need, sparring. There's the Red Rock runs as well, if I need. And, I think it is good to be away from home so I can just solely focus on me. And I bring my team out here and make sure everything's in place, and then go back and put on a dominant performance.
I gotta ask, what was it like running into Deontay Wilder at the UFC Institute the other day?
Yeah, it's good. Yeah, always good to see him. And Malik Scott is his new trainer and friend. And I've seen Charles Martin there, Michael Hunter's out there. So all the boxers are coming to the UFC now to train.
Yeah, man. I don't know how I like that. I don't know how I feel about that, Joe. I don't know. You guys are giving way too much publicity to that facility. You need to get together and make your own boxing facility. Everybody's at the UFC facility.
Yeah, maybe. There's different belts in it. Was it WC? Maybe they could make a performance center. And
yes, that's a good idea. The sanctioning bodies. That makes sense.
And you know what? The UFC.
Great idea.
The UFC is actually pretty impressive with it. It's not just the one here. They have one in Shanghai, and they're opening one in Mexico City. And I want to say for next year, they want to open the first location in Africa, having obviously Francis.
Imagine the work that you would get if, the major promoters got together and established a building. The PBC, Top Rank, little match room, Vegas building. Oh my God. Fighters could just mix and match.
They'd probably have to have a red corner and a blue corner, just so it doesn't get
give them whatever color they want.
But then think about it, because you'll have fighters from different promoters training there, and then what if one shiesty guy fucking sets up a camera to spy on this guy?
Oh man, here goes Mr. Negative over here.
No
way.
I'm telling you, I've heard Carl Frampton actually, when he came out here for camp for the Leo Santa Cruz 2 fight, he did camp over there. And he said the reason he did it over there, he's like, because there's no boxers over here. So I don't have to worry about it. He was private. He didn't have
someone. It's a small community and news travels fast. So I guess you have to.
But that's what I'm saying. The same way we know you're at the gym, we know who you're sparring. And believe me, everyone talks. Everyone talks.
They could have another contender show or something like that, maybe.
Yeah, it would be
some
good.
Cameras up.
It would be good.
Yo, looking at the picture, I'm not gonna lie. How tall are you, Joe? Because you look taller than Deontay in the picture.
I'm 6'6".
Okay.
Wow. Huge.
But I don't know. Maybe standing straight or something. But, he's a big guy though.
Did it cross your mind maybe I could get some work, or did you know it was too late and he was leaving?
Nah. It's just, it's a potential fight. Maybe maybe WBC. Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of guys that spar and end up fighting.
I mean,
I did.
Robert Helenius is his sparring partner. I was at the gym when he sparred Robert, and he's getting the big fight.
Yeah, I'll tell you a story. In back in the GB training center, it's it's in Sheffield, the EIS, and he turned up there years ago. And Helenius, yeah, and he came into the gym, and that is we'll have some sparring of these, these amateur guys. We've got have a round each. This is me and Fraser Clark, he just recently turned pro. He went to the Olympics as well.
I know Fraser.
Yeah, Fraser Clark, yeah. And we'll just do a round each. And then we're ready to fight, and we're we went in there and it like around each fresh each time, and we're just like by round 3 or 4, I was like, oh, we better take it easy on them a bit. Man.
So you guys were taking 1 minute breaks. Basically, you spar 3 minutes because you would spar, then the other person would get in.
Yeah, he was coming in fresh each time. Like I thought it must have just been like just little amateurs or something like that. But yeah, we put his paces, man.
Wow.
How do you think Deontay does in that fight? Obviously, Roberts had 2 big wins against I almost said Big Baby.
Nah, Adam Kovnacki.
Yeah, Adam Kovnacki. How do you think he does against Deontay though?
I don't know. I'd like to see that. I think it's going to be a good fight and see because obviously Deontay's been out the ring a long time. I've seen the work that he's been doing with Malik Scott. He looks good working on different things, and he seems to be punching hard as always. So, I think it's a good fight to get back in there. But I think probably Deontay is probably going to find the right hand at some point.
Yeah. Do you think he'll be able to get back to the top of the division?
Hey, yeah, I think he's I rate him and respect him and respect his power. I think he's a good fighter, and it's probably a fight quite soon because I'm getting up there. I'm going to win a world title soon. I'm going to beat up Parker and then go for my world title. And then there's plenty of good fights out there, and he could be one of them, maybe.
And that's something that you look forward to?
Yeah, I look forward to fighting the best. You have to be the best and beat the best and all that. You know, what's the saying?
Yeah, that's the saying. Do you think you have a nemesis? I mean, obviously, 2 weeks from now, Canelo gets in there with Triple G. Seems like a born rival, kind of like Conor Benn and Eubank. Do you feel like you have someone in this sport that's your rival, or is Usyk that guy because of the World Boxing Super Series, right? No. What was the one you just mentioned?
Yeah.
The one with no headgear.
Yeah, WSB, World Series of Boxing.
World Series of Boxing. All right. I knew it was something like that. So who do you think your nemesis is? Your rival?
I don't know. Maybe Joshua. Maybe Usyk. I guess I've thought.
Why Joshua? Do you guys have something from the amateurs?
Yeah, I fought him in the amateurs, but now it's professional, and like he's obviously been. He went to London. I went to Rio, so maybe there could be that. There's I don't know. There's plenty of boxers out there. There's Yoka, I guess, but he got beat up by Bakoli, so.
Yeah, that was a good win for Bakoli.
Yeah,
I wasn't expecting that. Did you?
Huh? No. Yeah, I've sparred with Bakoli, and he's got skills, and he's very strong as well. Keeps on coming forward, and that. Yeah, he's a good fighter.
So you expected to win?
I was very happy for him when he won. Yeah.
Okay. Wow. I thought as much as I seen a Yoka, he's so technically good, right? Like he's so tall, uses his range, uses his jab. I didn't expect that. Those clubbing shots of Bakoli were just coming around, and he was just falling apart. He just couldn't take it.
Yeah, I didn't think Yoka looked particularly that strong. He looked pretty didn't look that in that good shape, or he looked a bit weak, and he didn't seem to be throwing that much. Like I was quite, and I was very happy with Bakoli, man. He looked strong and did the business.
Yeah,
I'm shocked.
Yeah, Yoka definitely didn't throw much, but I'm gonna be honest. We got to see him sparring. He didn't throw much in sparring either. I guess sparring.
But he didn't look out of shape.
No. He
didn't look out of shape.
I thought he looked stronger in the previous fights that he had.
Maybe it was Bakoli, man. Those clubbing punches of Bakoli. So he's a big puncher, you would say, or what? Or is it his weight? What do you think it is about Bakoli?
Well, Bakoli's got heavy hands. He comes at different angles. Comes with the uppercuts, the hooks and stuff, and he's always like walking forward. He's got a good chin, and strong punch. So yeah, I think he's a good fighter.
So I remember on social media, you kind of, I would say, emulated. I wouldn't say mocked. Emulated Usyk with the taunt. Are you ever gonna start doing that now that you're like next in line? Do you remember what I'm talking about or no?
Usyk.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man. He can get that smoke.
That's what's up, man. So obviously we talked a little bit about Canelo and Triple G's coming up in maybe 17 days or something like that. A little more, actually. We're still in August. But who do you think wins, man? Canelo's coming off a loss. Is that enough to give some momentum to Triple G, or is he too old?
Yeah, this is the third fight, right?
Third fight.
So this is going to be the decider. Like, I mean, they're both. Like, I thought the first fight was like arguable. I don't know. Yeah, that I kind of. I thought Triple G did enough for that one, and then I think this, and then Canelo got the next one. So I think this one's like the decider, I reckon.
Mm-hmm. And
yeah, they're both getting on a bit, and like this, I think this is going to be, they're both going to raise their game because this is the decider, and this is like everything's on the table now for the, for a big fight.
Before, because the fight was announced before Canelo fought Bivol, so they already had.
Like there would have been more momentum if.
So for me, before Canelo lost, I wasn't interested in it because I was like, well, what are we gonna see? Canelo's been on a hot streak, and Golovkin really wasn't doing too much. Canelo went on that roll, undisputed 68. But now that he lost, a lot of people think that he may be vulnerable. Do you believe that there's a possible chance of a knockout for this fight? Because we saw both men take each other's best shots to the jaw, and nobody got hurt, nobody went down. Do you think somebody goes down in this fight?
Yeah, it could well be. But like you know what you're gonna get when you watch this fight. They're both gonna be coming at it like toe to toe, tash to tash. They're both gonna be like sinking in them like disgusting body shots on each other and to the head, and them hooks, and you can see the skills and that. It just it's just gonna be an explosive fight, and I'm really excited for it.
I didn't use my button. I forgot my new studio has a cough button. Sorry. But, Joe, I was going to ask, do you think we're in a time where boxing is just pushing where it's more of a business, or that's an American thing? Because I feel like we're already hearing Usyk and Fury being finalized for February. AJ always has a rematch, no problem. Dillian has fought everyone other than Americans. We don't have Crawford versus Earl yet. So is it an American thing, and in the UK you guys are fighting each other, or is it just boxing at high level? It's a business.
Yeah, no, boxing is a business and it's entertainment. Like, I think, but yeah, it's entertainment at the end of the day. But then, like, people are a bit like, especially from like Mayweather, for instance, you can see where you can like capitalize and like, create great fights and stuff. But it's I think it's a business, and but like there's exciting fights, and like and you can see like with these like the YouTubers and stuff how you get all these a lot more eyes, and like to see this thing is I don't know. I can't really put it into words.
Nah, I get it. It's difficult, man, because I look at a guy like Conor Benn, and on social media they'll say, well, he's avoiding an Ennis fight or a Virgil Ortiz fight, but I'm like, well, he's jumping in with Chris Eubank Jr., who he knocked out Yeardom better than Canelo or better than anyone. He fought Billy Joe when he was very early in his career, so Eubank isn't a pushover, so that means Ben isn't afraid. But Ben made the fight with Eubank, instead of one of these big name American welterweights like a Virgil Ortiz, who he could have had a big fight with, or a Ennis, or even a Crawford, who has no fight technically on paper. They could have offered Crawford a title shot, or rather,
I think people like stories and they like history and that, and obviously Nigel Benn and Chris Eubank is like a famous fight that people what, and like that rivalry and stuff, and it's kind of like recreating that. Like it's at catch weight, so see Chris Eubank's going to be a bigger guy, but then like Ben is obviously going to be the quicker fighter. So like, well, this.
But think about it, Joe. Like Like, Ben hasn't even challenged for a title, hasn't won a title. Like, you don't think that maybe getting one of these fights with a Boots, with a Duran, somebody in the rankings higher than you that can get you an opportunity at a title shot, you don't think that would have done more for his career than a fight at a catchweight with Chris Eubank Jr.?
Yeah, possibly, but then it comes down to, is it business and it's entertainment as well? There's all that.
And that's what I'm saying, that it just seems like in the UK, you guys get it on a little easier than us. I mean, I'm pretty sure that you would agree if Earl and Crawford were from the United Kingdom, that fight would have been done.
Possibly.
Come on, domestic rivals like
Whoa,
that.
Both sides of the pond.
Amir Khan Kell Brook took how fucking long to happen?
No,
Like too long.
No. But we can all agree here that Amir Khan is not Earl or Crawford. His career has shown he's not them. Come on.
But
like,
that fight, all these years later, was still fucking huge out there.
Yeah, but Khan held that up. We all know Brook wanted that fight all his life. And look what happened. When he finally got it and Khan finally thought Brook was a little too old, Brook still did what he knew he would do 10 years ago.
Yeah,
Khan was always the A side. He never gave Brook the fight. Let's be real. That's not Earl and Crawford's fault. They arguing about splits, but they are not afraid to fight.
But I'm just saying, sometimes British fighters don't fight.
I mean, I don't even think that's an option because they eventually fought.
It just took a long ass time.
It did. That one did. But that's only one good example. Name another. British fighters fight each other.
We're going to carry on with the interview with Joe Joyce.
Yeah. No, because I'm telling you guys get it on. Billy Joe fought James DeGale at like 11-0. We don't.
Yeah. And I
that.
fought the bar.
We don't do that.
On.
Like, did Wilder fight? I don't know anyone at 11-0. Like, it doesn't happen. Not over here. Not over here. Very rare. And that's why we had Cashflow Diaz in our other studio. And when you notice that a fighter's fighting so many undefeated fighters, you give them some credit because it doesn't happen often. It doesn't.
Yeah. But yeah, fans like to see it, so it just needs to happen more. So take some notes, people.
Exactly. Exactly. I got a couple of questions from the people, actually, our most loyal listeners on Patreon. We got Young Tigre in San Antonio says, if you could co-main event one of these pay-per-views, which one would you choose? A Floyd Mayweather Jr. versus Jake Paul exhibition, Canelo versus Benavidez, or Tank versus Ryan?
I prefer to main event my own shows, thank you.
Wow, that's a good answer because those are some great options, let me tell you. There's going to be a lot of eyeballs on all those fights if they ever happen, but that's a good option. I mean, a good answer. You're better off being your own main event and becoming the draw. I got Mike D, who says, salute from Virginia. Which heavyweights are on your radar right now?
Well, Parker, obviously. There's Usyk. There's Tyson Fury, Deontay Wilder. I don't know. Maybe Dillian White. Yeah, there's plenty of good names out there.
I got Canna in Nebraska. In your opinion, what he's such a degenerate gambler. He said, in your opinion, what round will you stop Parker? Salute. Thanks for coming on the show. Have you ever called around like Babe Ruth?
I've called around a couple of times and I've seemed to got it right, but I'll say 7-8.
7-8. Okay. If you get it right, we're gonna start calling him Joe Joyce, aka Mystic Mac, right? That's what they was calling McGregor.
Oh yeah, that's what they were calling Conor McGregor there for a while.
Mystic Joyce.
Mystic Joyce, man. So I wanted to ask, and I heard you say obviously you were in Rio for the Olympics. Is that where you picked up capoeira? Did you have a Brazilian girlfriend? Like, how'd you just start doing
yet.
capoeira? Not yet. Oh, you didn't stay in Rio long enough.
Man, they was robbing people out there, man. I'm glad he got out of there quick.
Yeah, I mean, I would have liked that gold medal, but that's another story. But no, I did capoeira before. I did it because I was doing athletics, and there was like somewhere nearby that had it in Like Putney Leisure Centre was near where I grew up, and then there's another 2 leisure centres that did it. So then I practiced for like a year or something in a group. It's like clapping, singing, and dancing, and obviously the history about capoeira is amazing. So it was good to I did it as a celebration after my fights in Rio, and I was planning to do a backflip after the finals when I won, but
Did you see this Saturday's backflip fail?
yeah, I did.
Do you still plan, or can you still do it?
I could do it on the trampoline comfortably. I could probably do it on sprung floor comfortably, but like after a 12-round fight, no chance. I don't want to face plant. Thank you.
What for, man? If you win, you don't need to do any backflips. The win is all the celebration in itself, man. But those are all the questions. I do want to thank you, obviously, for stopping by and talking some boxing with us. We wish you the best, obviously, in the Parker fight. And, give out your social media for anybody crazy enough not to be following you can do so.
Yeah, thank you. It's been a pleasure. So it's Joe Joyce Boxing on all platforms, basically. So, yeah, get to following people.
All right. Well, we are going to wrap it up because this is our last guest of the day. So, ring walk if you want.
Ringwalk Danny on Instagram and Twitter.
And I'm on Nest GTO. Catch us on the next one. Thank you.